Hello and welcome to the Bedtime Sleep, a quiet corner of the universe where science becomes a lullaby. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend this moment here with me. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from? And what time is it where you are right now? Is it nighttime, just before sleep? Or maybe the middle of the day, with the curtains drawn and your mind quietly wandering? Wherever you are, curled up under a soft blanket, resting on a train ride home, or simply letting your thoughts unwind. This space is for you to breathe, to let go, and to drift gently into curiosity. If you enjoy these slow and sleepy science stories, I'd be grateful if you gave this video a like and subscribed to this little constellation of calm. It helps us grow and lets me keep making more cozy corners of the universe for you to visit. And I always love reading your comments, so feel free to say hello or share what you'd like to hear next. Now, take a deep breath. Feel your body settle. Close your eyes if you'd like. Tonight's story begins with a strange question. Can you travel without moving? To begin answering it, let's start not in space, but within your own body. Right now, you may feel completely still, and yet, inside your skin, there is a quiet storm. Your heart beats, steady, patient. Your lungs rise and fall like soft waves. Your cells divide, your nerves hum, your molecules vibrate. Even in rest, you are in motion. Tiny particles inside you twitch and tremble, drifting through a world far too small for your eyes to see. And deeper still, in the nucleus of nearly every cell, your DNA, your living blueprint, unfurls, coils, and recites instructions like a soft song from memory. Time lives there too, not as minutes or hours, but as a rhythm. Every blink, every breath, every dream is a beat within a larger clock. But this clock is not made of numbers. It's made of motion. And here's something quietly astonishing. You are never truly still. Even now, lying in bed, your body spins with the earth. The planet itself turns at about 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, hurling you through space without your feet ever leaving the ground. You orbit the sun at about 67,000 miles per hour, and the entire solar system twirls around the center of the galaxy, like a spiral of dust caught in a slow cosmic dance. You don't feel it, but you are sailing through space right now, effortlessly, silently, constantly. And yet, you haven't moved a muscle. Strange, isn't it? You may think of movement as something you control, walking, running, reaching for a warm cup of tea. But motion is not always about intention. It's not always about going somewhere new. Sometimes, it's simply about being in a place where everything else won't stop moving. That's what time is. Not a ticking clock, but the shifting of one moment into the next. It's the leaf falling, the candle shrinking, the feeling that the day has changed since morning, even if nothing else did. And inside you, time doesn't just pass. It shapes you. Your cells age. Your memories settle. Your bones remember how tall you've grown. Time doesn't rush you, but it never waits either. Still, not all time flows the same. This is where the story turns towards something deeper, a truth uncovered by scientists who looked closely enough to see what most people missed. Because time can bend, it can stretch, it can even slow down. If you've ever waited for news or watched the last seconds of a countdown, you might know the feeling, how time can feel heavy, thick, reluctant to move. But that's just perception, you might say. What if it's more? What if time truly behaves differently, depending on how fast you're moving, or how close you are to something massive, like a planet or a star? This isn't imagination. This is physics. Einstein once looked at the world and realized that time is not separate from space. They are woven together. Space and time, A single fabric that curves and stretches around the mass of stars and the speed of motion. And if you could see this fabric, it would ripple like a blanket being pulled, soft folds forming where the weight of a planet presses down. This means that time near something heavy, like a mountain, moves just a little slower than time on a flat plane. And the faster you go, the more time stretches behind you, like a shadow lengthening in the sunset. It's called time dilation, and though we'll explore it more soon, you can already begin to imagine the feeling, being on a train that moves so fast that the world outside blurs. And yet inside, your heartbeat stays slow and steady, as if time has curled up beside you and agreed to wait. But tonight, you don't need a spaceship to experience the wonder of time. You are already a time traveler, just by being alive. Your body carries the echoes of every moment you've lived. The scar on your knee, the laugh lines near your eyes, the way your breath slows when you hear a lullaby. You are not just in time. You are made of it. And if time is not as fixed as we once believed, then perhaps movement isn't either. Maybe you can move without stepping. Maybe you can stretch across seconds, like light stretches across space, quietly, constantly, without ever breaking. Maybe stillness is not the opposite of travel. Maybe it is the invitation. So tonight, as you lie still, you are also moving. Through memory, through thought, through time itself. The cells inside you tick softly. The stars above you shift slowly. And the world carries you forward, one heartbeat at a time. And if time can stretch, what about light? Could it be a kind of messenger, moving not just through space, but through the very shape of time itself? Let's follow a single beam and see where it leads. So if time can stretch, what about light? Let's begin here with something soft, something familiar. Picture a beam of sunlight slipping through a window. It rests gently on your blanket, warms your skin, and seems to arrive from nowhere, effortlessly, gracefully. But that one beam has traveled millions of miles, just to reach the curve of your hand. It began at the surface of the sun, which itself took thousands of years to form each photon, from the searing chaos of its core. And then it launched at the only speed the universe allows, the speed of light, 186,000 miles per second. Nothing goes faster. Nothing ever has. That number isn't just fast. It's the ultimate speed limit. A sacred thread woven through all things. But why does it matter? Because light doesn't just carry energy or color or heat. It carries time. Imagine a lighthouse in the dark, its beam sweeping across a still ocean. Now picture light as the keeper of rhythm, casting its beam not just outward, but forward in time. When you look at the stars, you're not seeing them now. You're seeing them then, as they were when the light first left them. Sometimes hundreds, sometimes millions of years ago. It's like watching ancient letters arrive from a place that no longer exists. Light lets you see the past, and yet, light is always in the present. Here's where the mystery deepens. No matter how fast you move, whether you walk, ride, run, or rocket, light always moves away from you at the exact same speed. That's not just weird. It's revolutionary. It means time and space must bend to make that true. Let's say you shine a flashlight while standing still. The beam travels forward at the speed of light. Now suppose you jump on a train and shine that same flashlight. You're moving. The train is moving. Surely the beam is now traveling faster, right? No. Still the same speed. To make that work, the universe adjusts something else. Time. Time must slow down. Just a little for you. Your seconds stretch. Your heart beats slower from the outside observer's point of view. Why? So that light's speed stays constant. This idea, this beautiful, terrifying, poetic truth. is part of Einstein's special theory of relativity. Light forces the universe to stay balanced, and the price of that balance is time itself. And light never slows. It moves through the vacuum of space untouched, unchanged, unaffected. It doesn't age. It doesn't tire. If you were light, time would simply stop. Think about that. If you could become a beam of light, just for a moment, you would experience no time at all. You'd leave one place and arrive in another, without a single second passing for you. Of course, you aren't light. You have mass, and anything with mass can never quite reach the speed of light. The closer you get, the more the universe resists, as if space itself thickens, as if time clings to you more tightly. But still, light shows you what's possible. Imagine standing at the edge of a canyon at sunset. You lift a mirror, and the sunlight bounces off of it, instantly, without hesitation. But that bounce carries a memory. That light left the sun 8 minutes ago. It traveled all that way, to be reflected in this exact moment, in your exact hands. And even the colors of that light are tiny timekeepers. Blue light moves in shorter, tighter waves, faster, more energetic. Red light moves in longer waves, like a slow sigh stretched across a meadow. When something in the universe moves away from you quickly, its light stretches, becomes redder. This is how we know distant galaxies are drifting farther apart. It's called redshift, the universe stretching like a rubber band, carrying galaxies with it, on tides we can't see. And still, light reaches us, even from billions of years away, even from stars long dead. Every flicker of light is a message, sent through space and bent by time. Sometimes it reflects off dust. Sometimes it passes through glass. Sometimes it lands on a page, or a petal, or a pair of tired eyes, in a quiet room, just like yours. And what about your own light? Because yes, you shine too. The warmth of your skin, the glow of your body in infrared. You are always sending light. It's just a kind we cannot see, but the universe does. You are made of atoms that shimmer, molecules that vibrate, cells that give off tiny bursts of energy, like whispers into the dark. Your body is a lighthouse too, even in stillness, even in sleep. So when we ask, can you travel without moving? The answer, in part, is yes, if you're light. You can cross galaxies. You can pass through centuries. You can move without aging. You can be a thread in the fabric of time. But if you're bound by mass, like all humans are, you can only follow light's path. Chase it, bend with it, learn from it. Still, that path is full of clues. And here's one more. Light bends, not just through glass or water, but through gravity. Space itself curves under the weight of stars. And light, always obedient, follows the curve. So now we wonder, if gravity can slow time and bend light, what else can it shape? What happens when time meets gravity face to face? You are about to find out. You're still lying still, but now your thoughts begin to drift toward the edge of something strange, something heavy, something silent. In the vastness of space, there are places where time doesn't tick, not like you know it. Places where gravity becomes so intense, it pulls not just matter, but moments. These are black holes, not holes in the sense of emptiness, but more like folds, deep indentations in the fabric of space-time. Imagine you're looking at a stretched-out sheet, smooth like satin. Now place a heavy marble in the center. Watch the way it sags. That's gravity shaping the sheet. Now, imagine adding something so heavy, so impossibly dense, that it punches straight through the fabric. That's a black hole. It begins with a star, a massive one, many times the size of our sun. When such a star runs out of fuel, it can no longer hold itself up. The balance between gravity pulling in and pressure pushing out collapses, and in one final moment, the star caves in on itself. It becomes smaller and smaller until it shrinks to a single point, a point with no size, but infinite density. This is called a singularity, a place where our known physics, our best ideas and equations, simply stop working. We can't see it. We can't truly know it, but we know what surrounds it. Around the singularity is a boundary. It's called the event horizon. Think of it as the point of no return. If you drift past it, not even light can escape. Not because the black hole grabs the light, but because the very space the light tries to travel through is falling inward faster than light can move. Inside this horizon, all directions lead inward. Even out points toward the center. Now, imagine floating slowly toward one. You wouldn't feel a tug or a jolt. You'd feel nothing unusual at first. But then, as you draw closer, the pull on your feet becomes stronger than the pull on your head. Gravity stretches you, gently at first, then more and more. Scientists call this spaghettification, a poetic, if strange, name for being stretched into a long, thin strand of atoms. You become a line, and eventually nothing at all. Of course, no one's ever returned from a black hole, but from the outside, things look different. If someone watched you fall in, they'd never see you reach the event horizon. Instead, you'd appear to slow, and slow, until you froze in time, forever on the edge, your image red shifting into darkness. Because time itself stretches. As gravity increases, clocks tick slower near massive objects. Near a black hole, they barely tick at all. And here's the quiet miracle. This isn't science fiction. We've measured it. Time runs faster at the top of a skyscraper than it does at its base. Your head ages a little quicker than your feet. On satellites, we have to correct for these time differences, so your GPS can find you. That's how real, how intimate, gravity's influence on time truly is. Black holes are the deepest wells in this cosmic terrain, and yet, they're not just destroyers. They may also be sculptors. When galaxies form, we often find black holes at their hearts. Massive ones, millions or even billions of times the mass of our sun. They spin. They glow with the heat of matter spiraling in. They shape the stars that orbit around them. It's as if they anchor galaxies in space, quietly holding everything together. And though light cannot escape a black hole, the edge, the event horizon, can shine. Matter falling inward heats up, ripping apart into plasma, glowing brightly before disappearing forever. That glow helps us see where black holes are. It helps us map the invisible. In 2019, we saw one for the first time. A ring of orange light, curving around a dark shadow. A black hole in a galaxy far away. We saw the unseeable. And what happens inside? We don't know. Not fully. Some believe black holes evaporate over time, shrinking ever so slowly, as they emit faint radiation, a whisper into the void. Others think they connect to something else. A bridge, a tunnel, a place where time flips inside out. A wormhole, perhaps. We don't know, but we wonder. And in that wonder, you find something comforting. Not fear, but quiet awe. Because even the darkest places in the universe are full of light, just not the kind you can see. They're full of mystery, of unanswered questions, of echoes that remind us how small, and yet how curious, we really are. Black holes don't just trap matter. They trap possibility. And yet, from the outside, they light the edges of the cosmos. You, too, are full of gravity. Not the kind that bends light, but the kind that draws ideas in, holds thoughts together. makes wonder feel heavy and real. As you breathe in, you feel the tug of sleep approaching, a soft gravity of your own. And as you breathe out, you wonder if time can stop in the heart of a black hole. Then what happens when you dream? And just like that, we follow the quiet question into the mystery of time's rhythm, the rhythm of your own mind. You've wandered through starlight. You've stood at the edge of a black hole. Now, gently, you return home, not to Earth, but to the space behind your eyes. Your mind, the silent world that hums beneath your every moment, is a timekeeper, too. It marks hours not with clocks, but with rhythm, patterns, waves of electricity and chemical whispers, moving from neuron to neuron, in perfect synchrony. Right now, as you lie still, your brain begins to shift gears. It quiets the chatter of daylight, slows the circuits of decision, and leans toward stillness, but never fully stops. Even in sleep, your brain keeps time. Even in dreams, you are dancing with rhythm. The brain is made of roughly 86 billion neurons. And while that number may feel abstract, each one is alive with motion. Each sends signals down thin threads, like messages sliding along vines in a forest. Some neurons fire fast and bright, others slow and deep. They sink into patterns, brainwaves, named after Greek letters, because language can't quite capture their beauty. When you're fully awake and alert, your brain hums in beta waves, sharp, focused, quick. As you relax, alpha waves begin to rise, smoother, softer, like ripples across a lake. And when you drift into sleep, your brain descends through theta, then delta, long, slow waves, like the swing of a pendulum in deep water. This is the rhythm of rest. This is how your mind turns the lights down low. But brainwaves aren't just background noise. They're the architecture of consciousness. They shape how you remember, how you imagine, how you dream. In fact, even the sense of time passing comes from these pulses. Ever notice how time feels slower when you're bored and faster when you're fully immersed? That's not your imagination. That's your brain's internal clock, adjusting, stretching, compressing, based on attention, emotion, and rhythm. Time, in the brain, is elastic, not because of gravity, but because of meaning. A single joyful second can feel like a breeze. A moment of pain can stretch into what feels like minutes. That's why your dreams can feel like entire stories, even though they may only last a few minutes in real time. And speaking of dreams, as your brain sinks into the deeper stages of sleep, your body grows still, but your mind begins to build worlds. Vivid ones, emotional ones, sometimes strange, sometimes serene. These dreams are crafted in part by the limbic system, the emotional heart of your brain. It doesn't follow logic. It follows memory, metaphor, feeling. And during a phase called REM, rapid eye movement, your brain becomes almost as active as it is when awake. But here's the mystery. You can't move. Your body is gently paralyzed so that you don't act out your dreams. Your muscles rest while your mind wanders. Time in dreams flows differently. There are no clocks, no calendars, only events, feelings, transitions. You can skip from childhood to tomorrow, in the space between two heartbeats. And when you wake, you may feel as if you've been gone for hours, when only 20 minutes have passed. Your brain, it seems, has its own sense of time. Scientists believe this inner clock is maintained by a small cluster of neurons deep in your brain's hypothalamus, called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. A name as complex as the thing it does. It receives light from your eyes and helps control your circadian rhythm, the 24-hour dance of waking, sleeping, hunger, alertness, and rest. But your circadian rhythm isn't just about sleep. It shapes your mood, your focus, your ability to heal. When it falls out of sync, you feel it as jet lag, insomnia, even sadness. It is your body's way of telling time. A clock made not of gears, but of cells. Even the tiniest structures in your body, your organs, your skin, your blood, have clocks of their own. They respond to light, to temperature, to meals, to movement. You are not just in time. You are made of time, and that includes the deeper rhythms, the ones we're only just beginning to understand. Neuroscientists now believe that the brain doesn't just tell time. It uses rhythm to build your sense of self, that your memories are timed to patterns, that your awareness is stitched together moment by moment, like frames in a film. If those frames fall out of rhythm, your sense of time and self can blur. This is why music can feel so healing. It gives you rhythm to align to. It brings the brain's waves into harmony. And when everything lines up, your thoughts, your breath, your heartbeat, you enter flow, that precious state where time disappears and you simply are. Right now, you may be drifting toward that rhythm. You may feel the space between thoughts growing wider, the world inside your mind slowing, softening, blurring. And here's the gentlest truth. Your mind is not a machine. It's a garden. Thoughts bloom and fade. Memories root and twist. Dreams fall like petals, only to return in different seasons. And time is the gardener, patient, mysterious, quietly shaping everything you are. So as you begin to drift, feel the rhythm within you, not like a ticking clock, but like a tide, steady, gentle, pulling you deeper. And tomorrow, when you wake, you'll carry traces of this rhythm with you, a leftover harmony, a softened edge. But before we leave your mind behind, there's something waiting outside it, not just in your thoughts, but in your body, because time doesn't live only in the stars or the brain. It lives in your cells, in your DNA, in the tiny ticking of life itself. Let's go there next. You don't feel it, but your cells are counting. Right now, in the soft quiet of your body, each one is quietly ticking, not with gears or bells, but with instructions, unfolding. Every cell in your body holds a library, and in that library, curled delicately like an ancient scroll, is your DNA, the story of you, written in 4 letters, repeating, spiraling, weaving, adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine. A, T, G, and C. They are not just letters. They are whispers. They are time, braided into biology. Your DNA doesn't just tell your body how to grow. It tells it when to divide, when to rest, when to become a skin cell, or a neuron, or the clear lens of your eye. It's not a command. It's a rhythm. And like any rhythm, it changes. You began as one cell, and that cell knew what to do. It read your DNA, like a conductor reads music, following the score, section by section, until a symphony of cells bloomed into being, and time moved forward, not just in minutes, but in milestones. Your DNA shaped the tempo, your height, your voice, your eyes opening for the first time to the light of the world. But DNA isn't fixed. It's a story written in ink that fades and rewrites itself with each passing year. This is epigenetics, the gentle layering of experience on top of instruction. Imagine tiny bookmarks placed on your DNA by the choices you make, the foods you eat, the air you breathe, even the love you feel. Those bookmarks don't change the letters, but they change how your cells read them. In this way, your life and your genes are in conversation, and time is the ink between them. But time also leaves where With every cell that divides, your DNA shortens slightly, not in the middle where the code lives, but at the ends, in little caps called telomeres. Think of telomeres as the plastic tips on shoelaces, keeping your DNA from unraveling. Each time a cell copies itself, a bit of those caps wears away. Over years and decades, they shrink. And when they grow too short, the cell knows it's time to stop. This is one of the many ways your body measures time, not with watches, but with limits. It's not cruel. It's a safeguard. It's how your body protects itself from growing wild, from losing control. But the shortening of telomeres is also why we age. Your skin thins, your hair grays, your joints stiffen, and deep down, in the quiet heart of your cells, a tiny clock has been ticking all along. Some scientists believe we may one day learn to slow this clock, to stretch telomeres, to repair damage, to gently nudge the body toward more time. But even if we do, the truth remains. Your DNA is not just a blueprint. It's a memoir. It holds the record of your ancestors, their struggles, their strengths, their triumphs carved into your genes. And every day you live, you add to that record through laughter, through grief, through moments quiet and grand. Your body remembers, even now, while you sleep. Your cells are repairing, adjusting, rewriting themselves in rhythm with night. The circadian clock, guided by light and darkness, isn't just in your brain. It's in almost every cell. Genes switch on and off, depending on the hour. Some help you digest. Others clean up waste. Some protect you from harm. Only while you rest. You are, in every part of you, a being made of time. And while your genes tell the story, your cells perform it. Faithfully, tirelessly, day after day. Sometimes, mistakes happen. A wrong letter here, a skipped beat there. Most go unnoticed. Your cells are master editors. But occasionally, a change slips through. A mutation, not always harmful, not always helpful, but always a reminder that life is never static. Even in your quietest moments, your body is evolving, and across generations. These changes build stories larger than any one life. They become evolution. A single mutation that helps one creature survive may someday become a trait, woven into millions. In this way, your DNA is not just yours. It's borrowed. It's passed. It's part of something ancient and ongoing. A river of time, flowing through blood and breath and memory. So when you feel small, when the world feels fast and you feel slow, remember this. Inside you is a record of deep time, a fossil that breathes, a galaxy that replicates, a clock that dreams. And though your cells may one day fade, their story does not vanish. It becomes part of the world again. Dust, air, soil, ready to begin anew. So rest easy now, knowing that your very biology is humming a lullaby older than language. And as that rhythm softens you to sleep, you might begin to wonder if our bodies hold time and our minds shape it. Where does time truly begin? Perhaps not in us. Perhaps in the things beyond life, beyond biology, like light, or space, or something even stranger. Let's follow that thought a little further. You lie still, but above you, light moves, even with your eyes closed. The universe pulses, not loudly, but with soft, ancient brightness, traveling toward you from so far away. It barely remembers where it began. Tonight, we're not walking forward through time. We're letting light carry us backward, Because in the language of the universe, light is not just color, not just warmth. It is memory. Moving fast, light travels at a fixed speed, about 300,000 kilometers every second. That's fast enough to circle the Earth 7 times in a blink. But even that speed is an instant. When you look at the moon, you're seeing it as it was 1.5 seconds ago. The sun, that's light from 8 minutes earlier. And the stars, some of them sent their light before your ancestors learned to speak. Some of them, before Earth had trees. You are always seeing the past. This idea is simple and staggering because it means the night sky is a museum of glowing echoes, each star a postcard from deep time. Arriving just now, in your quiet moment, astronomers call this look-back time. And the farther we look, the farther back we see that fuzzy light in the sky, the Andromeda Galaxy. It's 2.5 million years away. When that light began its journey, early humans were just learning how to shape stone. And yet tonight, here it is, arriving at your eyes. Your body doesn't just live in time. It receives it in beams. Think about that. Right now, photons, tiny packets of light, are touching you. Some were born in fire, some in collisions, some in the deaths of stars. They traveled untouched across a cold, silent universe to arrive on your skin this very second. And they carry more than glow. They carry information about what the universe looked like long before we were here to watch it. That's why telescopes are like time machines. The deeper they peer, the older the light they gather. The James Webb Space Telescope, perched in the still dark above Earth, is collecting light that began its journey more than 13 billion years ago. It's peering so far that the galaxies it sees were still forming. We are seeing baby pictures of the cosmos. And through this light, we've learned that the universe isn't static. It's expanding, stretching. Galaxies are moving away from us, and the space between them is growing. This means light, traveling through that space, is being stretched too. Its waves become longer, redder. This is called redshift. Imagine shouting across a field, and as your sound reaches the other side, it deepens. Not because you changed your voice, but because the field itself grew larger. That's what light does. As the cosmos expands, and this redshift is one of the clearest signs that the universe is in motion. But light does more than reveal space. It reveals time's odd behavior, because light travels at a constant speed. Time and space must bend to keep it that way. This is part of Einstein's great insight, that time is not absolute. If you move fast enough, time slows down for you. But light always moves at the same pace, so it becomes the ruler by which everything else must stretch or compress. And this leads to something strange. If you could somehow ride a photon, if you could become light, you'd experience no time at all. For light, the journey from one star to another is instant. It is born, and it arrives. No waiting in between. So in a very real way, every photon that reaches you has carried a moment from the past into your present without experiencing time. It's like a message that never aged, on its way. And yet, for you, that moment might be millions or billions of years old. So when you watch the stars, you are not looking at things far away. You're looking at times, moments suspended in light, histories flung toward you by stars long gone. Even the starlight that lands softly on your windowsill might be from a star that no longer exists. Its atoms scattered, Its warmth faded, but its final beams still crossing the dark toward your quiet night. In this way, light gives the universe memory, and you, simply by seeing, are participating in that memory. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are a witness to its unfolding. And there's comfort in that, because even as moments pass and life rushes forward, some things, light, memory, wonder, linger. The stars don't just light the night. They remind you that nothing is truly gone, so long as its story still travels. And perhaps you might wonder now, if light can carry the past across the universe, what else might carry it forward? What holds our place? In the rhythm of time? Maybe the answer lies in something deeper than beams. In the very rules that hold the cosmos together. So let's keep drifting. Let's float past the stars, past the glow, towards something quieter, colder, and stranger. Entropy waits. You lie in the dark, perhaps with a blanket pulled close, the hush of night wrapping around you. And as your breath rises and falls, your body drifts, not just into sleep, but gently deeper, into the quiet pull of entropy. Entropy is a strange word, soft on the tongue, but vast in meaning. It's not noise. It's not chaos. Not exactly. Entropy is the slow unfolding of everything, from neatness into mess, from structure into blur. It is the arrow of time, not a ticking clock, but a quiet rule, written into the fabric of the universe. And it begins not with destruction, but with warmth. Every time something happens, a match lights, a cell divides, your heart beats, a bit of energy is used, and some of that energy slips away as heat. Always, always, no matter how efficient, how precise, no machine, no body, no star escapes this gentle loss. And this loss is not failure. It's nature. Entropy measures the spread of energy, how evenly it flows, how widely it diffuses, how gently it forgets where it began. Picture an ice cube placed in warm water. At first, the lines are clear. Cold here, warmth there. But soon, the cold bleeds into the warmth. Edges blur. Temperatures even out. And when all is blended, when there is no difference left to dissolve, that's when entropy is highest. Not chaos. Balance. Stillness. You see it everywhere. In a tidy room slowly collecting dust. In a hot cup of tea growing cooler by the minute. In the way memories soften as years unfold behind you. And while entropy feels like loss, it's not cruel. It is simply the way the universe breathes out. Each star that burns gives off light and heat. Entropy, each breath you take, releases warmth into the air. Entropy, even the very act of living, requires order, drawn from food, from the sun, from the planet itself. And every bit of that order creates disorder somewhere else. This doesn't mean life is doomed. It means life is part of the system. Life dances against entropy, but never outside it. We are little pockets of order, briefly carved from a drifting sea. Your body is an island, where molecules are arranged. Just so, organs aligned, blood flowing, cells dividing with purpose. But that arrangement takes energy, and as the years pass, your island gently erodes. Skin thins, thoughts slow, bones grow weary, not because you failed, but because you obeyed the most universal law of all. And yet, there is beauty here, because entropy is not just decay. It's the condition for change. Without it, nothing would move. No warmth would spread. No stars would shine. No lives would stir. It is entropy that lets us feel time. Without it, every moment would be the same. No past, no future, only stasis. But because order fades, there is history, there is memory, there is meaning, and still, entropy does not rush. It is not a thief in the night. It is a tide, slow and soft, drawing everything outward, toward equilibrium. Even black holes, those mysterious devourers of matter, obey entropy. In fact, they are among the most entropic things we know. When something falls into a black hole, its information, its structure, is thought to vanish. Not lost, perhaps, but scrambled beyond recognition. Some physicists believe that black holes have entropy too, not in their temperature, but in their surface area. The larger their event horizon, the more disorder they hold. This connects the physics of gravity with the quiet pull of entropy, two ideas that once lived far apart. And beyond black holes, beyond stars, there is the ultimate question. What happens when everything ends? The universe, it seems, is cooling. Slowly, gradually. Stars will burn out. Galaxies will dim. Atoms will drift apart. And in the far, far future, unimaginably distant, the cosmos may reach what scientists call heat death, a moment not of fire, but of perfect stillness. No more differences in temperature, no more flow, just maximum entropy, where everything is so evenly spread that nothing happens anymore. It's not an explosion. It's a whisper that never ends. But you don't need to fear that moment. It's not coming soon, not in a million lifetimes. And even if it does arrive, it only proves something deep. That time, like breath, moves one way, and we, you, me, this whole beautiful mess of life, exist in the spaces between. We build sandcastles, knowing the tide will come. We make music, knowing the silence follows. We live because we are not yet at stillness. So breathe in this truth. Hold it like a blanket. The universe will not stop suddenly. It will fade, gently, quietly, gracefully, and in that fading, it will write its last lullaby. But not yet. Not for a long time. For now, entropy is just a companion, a slow drift, reminding us to cherish the order while we have it. And as you drift deeper, you may begin to wonder, if time pulls things apart, how did it ever build them in the first place? What made order rise from the vast calm of nothing? Let's return now, not to the end, but to the beginning, to the very first moment, where time itself may have cracked open, like a breath. You are resting now, the world hushed, your body still, but your thoughts may be floating, drawn backward, deeper, into the quiet before everything began. And somewhere in that silence, you arrive at the edge of the very first breath of time. The beginning of the universe was not loud, not in the way we think of noise. There was no sky to echo, no air to carry sound. There was no place, no direction, not even darkness, just a singularity, a place with no size, a state with no before, an isness, waiting to unfold. Then, suddenly, swiftly, mysteriously, it expanded. We call it the Big Bang. But it wasn't an explosion. It was an opening, a blooming, a sudden stretching of space and time, from something impossibly tiny to something vast. In less than a trillionth of a second, the universe went from nothing to almost everything. Space itself unfolded. Time began to tick, not from a clock, but from change, because time, at its core, isn't measured by numbers. It's felt in motion, and with that first swell of energy, there was motion, particles whirling, forces awakening, temperatures soaring. Imagine a mist of pure potential, glowing beyond comprehension, hotter than stars, denser than any mountain, bursting with energy and possibility. This was the infant cosmos, not orderly, not calm, but alive. As it expanded, it cooled, And cooling is the cradle of form. Because when things are too hot, they blur. Energy flickers too fast to settle. But as the universe exhaled, slowing just enough, particles began to bond. Quarks clung together to form protons and neutrons. A few minutes later, these formed the nuclei of hydrogen and helium, simple atoms, light and gentle, the building blocks of everything to come. Still, the universe was not yet visible. For hundreds of thousands of years, it was a fog, a glowing, opaque sea of plasma. Light was born, but it could not travel freely. Photons were scattered constantly, bounced from particle to particle, like a restless child, in a crowded room. Then, around 380,000 years after that first breath, something changed. The fog cleared. Atoms captured electrons. And suddenly, light could move. This moment is called recombination, and it gave us the first true light of the universe. A soft glow, still echoing today, as the cosmic microwave background. A whisper stretched thin across the fabric of space. When we look out, with sensitive instruments, we can still see it. The baby picture of the universe. Still warm, still gentle, still there. This light wraps around you now, even as you lie here, not as brightness, but as a faint warmth. From all directions, a cosmic memory, carried for billions of years. And what happened next? The atoms drifted, slowly pulled by the thread of gravity. Clouds formed, grew heavy, and collapsed. And in those collapses, the first stars were born, tiny specks in a still dark sky, their fusion igniting the next great chapter of the cosmos. These stars were giants, larger than today's, shorter-lived, but powerful. Inside them, new elements were forged: carbon, oxygen, iron, the materials of dust and dreams. When those stars died, they exploded, scattering their enriched contents into space. And from that dust, new stars formed, new planets, and one day, much, much later, a pale blue dot. But let's stay in the early quiet a little longer. Imagine you are a molecule now, floating gently in a newborn galaxy. No rush, no sound, just slow motion. Gravity weaving patterns, like a quiet loom. It took time, billions of years, for these patterns to become familiar, for spiral arms to twist, for planets to cool, and even longer still, for consciousness to arise, for something within the universe to look back at it and wonder. Which brings us to now, to you, to this small, still moment. At the far edge of time's beginning, you are not apart from the Big Bang. You are part of its unfolding. Your breath, your heartbeat, your thoughts, they are all made from the same atoms, forged in ancient stars, which were born from the first bloom of light, when the universe began to speak. So as you lie here, wrapped in soft darkness, let this truth settle in. You are time's child. You carry its memory. Its rhythm hums in your blood. And though the beginning was vast and wild, you are the calm after the storm, a place where time now pauses to dream. And if the universe began with a breath, you might wonder, could the cosmos itself have a mind? Not a brain, perhaps, but a pattern, a way of knowing. Might it think? Might it remember? Might it learn? Let's wander next into the folds of memory that live in the smallest of things. Not galaxies, but neurons. Not time, but thought. You're resting now, curled inward like a seashell, the hush of the evening pressing close. Your body may be still, but your mind is never silent. It ripples, even in sleep, even in dreams. And inside it, something miraculous is always unfolding. Your brain is changing, not wildly, not all at once, but gently, patiently, moment by moment. Your brain rewires itself, like a garden that learns where the sun falls best. This quiet ability is called neuroplasticity, a long word, but a soft one when you understand it. Neuro means nerve, and plasticity means flexibility, the ability to bend, to reshape, to adapt without breaking. It means your brain is not a machine, but a living map, one that updates itself again and again, based on how you live, what you feel, and what you learn. When you practice a skill, like tying a shoelace, or learning a new language, or calming yourself in the dark, your brain changes. Connections strengthen. Some fade. New routes are carved, like streams in soft earth. Neurons, your brain's tiny messengers, fire together, and the more often they fire in tandem, the stronger their connection becomes. Neurons that fire together wire together. Scientists say, imagine that. Your thoughts, building roads, through a forest of possibility. Even now, as you listen, your brain is adapting. Maybe not dramatically, but subtly, like a tree leaning ever so slightly toward a better light. And this reshaping happens throughout your life. Children's brains are especially fluid. Each new word, each new feeling, etches a mark. But even in adulthood, the map is not fixed. You are always changing, learning a song, recovering from loss, forming a new habit, letting go of an old fear. All of it leaves fingerprints on your brain's architecture. You are sculpting yourself every day, and that includes healing. When an injury occurs, say a stroke or trauma, the brain, in many cases, searches for detours. It reassigns jobs, reroutes circuits, builds new networks around the damage. It doesn't always succeed, but the attempt, the effort, is profound. A mind reaching for itself, and even in smaller ways. This plasticity brings hope. It means you're not trapped by how you once thought, by what you once feared. You can rewire toward patience, toward kindness, toward calm. Even the act of remembering is a plastic event. Each time you recall a memory, you don't just replay it, you rebuild it. Memories are reconstructed, like whispered stories, retold under candlelight, slightly different each time. Your past is not a perfect photograph. It's a painting that changes as you gaze at it. That, too, is neuroplasticity. Of course, it's not all gentle. Sometimes, your brain wires itself in ways that make things harder. Repeated stress, fear, isolation. These can forge deep paths, loops of anxiety or sadness that feel difficult to escape. But even then, plasticity offers a way forward. Not a cure-all, but a possibility. Because the same brain that learned fear can learn peace. The same circuits that held hurt can be softened with time, with care, with new experience. Plasticity doesn't mean you must always change, only that you can. And that power is quietly sacred. Your brain is not just a thinker. It's a builder, a gardener, a river reshaping its course. And sleep, yes, even sleep, is part of this magic. During rest, your brain strengthens memories, trims unnecessary connections, and reinforces new ones, like a library reorganizing its shelves. While the lights are off, even now, in this quiet space, your mind is humming softly, tidying, weaving, gently growing. And isn't it wonderful that something so small, an experience, a word, a moment, can echo within you and subtly alter who you are? It's why kindness matters, why curiosity heals, why listening, really listening, can plant seeds of change. Without a single instruction, your brain is not waiting to be told. It is watching, feeling, adapting, always. And this adaptability is not just for the mind. It ripples through the body. New thoughts can change your posture. New emotions can change your breath. New experiences can alter how your heart responds to stress. You are not made of parts. You are one unfolding system, fluid, whole, and learning. So as you drift deeper now, wrapped in night's softness, remember that you are never stuck. You are a living map, still being drawn. And the next thought you think, the next feeling you hold, might redraw a line, just slightly, toward a more peaceful you. But you might begin to wonder, if the brain is a system that rewires itself, what other systems inside you carry memory too? What if the story of change wasn't just in your mind, but in your very genes? Let's follow that trail next, down, deep into your cells, to where memory becomes inheritance. You're resting now, curled inward like a seashell, the hush of the evening pressing close. Your body may be still, but your mind is never silent. It ripples, even in sleep, even in dreams. And inside it, something miraculous is always unfolding. Your brain is changing, not wildly, not all at once, but gently, patiently, moment by moment. Your brain rewires itself, like a garden that learns where the sun falls best. This quiet ability is called neuroplasticity, a long word, but a soft one when you understand it. Neuro means nerve, and plasticity means flexibility, the ability to bend, to reshape, to adapt without breaking. It means your brain is not a machine, but a living map, one that updates itself again and again, based on how you live, what you feel, and what you learn. When you practice a skill, like tying a shoelace, or learning a new language, or calming yourself in the dark, your brain changes. Connections strengthen. Some fade. New routes are carved, like streams in soft earth. Neurons, your brain's tiny messengers, fire together, and the more often they fire in tandem, the stronger their connection becomes. Neurons that fire together wire together. Scientists say, imagine that. Your thoughts, building roads, through a forest of possibility. Even now, as you listen, your brain is adapting. Maybe not dramatically, but subtly, like a tree leaning ever so slightly toward a better light. And this reshaping happens throughout your life. Children's brains are especially fluid. Each new word, each new feeling, etches a mark. But even in adulthood, the map is not fixed. You are always changing, learning a song, recovering from loss, forming a new habit, letting go of an old fear. All of it leaves fingerprints on your brain's architecture. You are sculpting yourself every day, and that includes healing. When an injury occurs, say a stroke or trauma, the brain, in many cases, searches for detours. It reassigns jobs, reroutes circuits, builds new networks around the damage. It doesn't always succeed, but the attempt, the effort, is profound. A mind reaching for itself, and even in smaller ways. This plasticity brings hope. It means you're not trapped by how you once thought, by what you once feared. You can rewire toward patience, toward kindness, toward calm. Even the act of remembering is a plastic event. Each time you recall a memory, you don't just replay it, you rebuild it. Memories are reconstructed, like whispered stories, retold under candlelight, slightly different each time. Your past is not a perfect photograph. It's a painting that changes as you gaze at it. That, too, is neuroplasticity. Of course, it's not all gentle. Sometimes, your brain wires itself in ways that make things harder. Repeated stress, fear, isolation. These can forge deep paths, loops of anxiety or sadness that feel difficult to escape. But even then, Plasticity offers a way forward, not a cure-all, but a possibility, because the same brain that learned fear can learn peace. The same circuits that held hurt can be softened with time, with care, with new experience. Plasticity doesn't mean you must always change, only that you can. And that power is quietly sacred. Your brain is not just a thinker. It's a builder, a gardener, a river reshaping its course. And sleep, yes, even sleep, is part of this magic. During rest, your brain strengthens memories, trims unnecessary connections, and reinforces new ones, like a library reorganizing its shelves. While the lights are off, even now, in this quiet space, your mind is humming softly, tidying, weaving, gently growing. And isn't it wonderful that something so small, an experience, a word, a moment, can echo within you and subtly alter who you are? It's why kindness matters, why curiosity heals, why listening, really listening, can plant seeds of change. Without a single instruction, your brain is not waiting to be told. It is watching, feeling, adapting, always. And this adaptability is not just for the mind. It ripples through the body. New thoughts can change your posture. New emotions can change your breath. New experiences can alter how your heart responds to stress. You are not made of parts. You are one unfolding system, fluid, whole, and learning. So as you drift deeper now, wrapped in night's softness, remember that you are never stuck. You are a living map, still being drawn, and the next thought you think, the next feeling you hold, might redraw a line, just slightly, toward a more peaceful you. But you might begin to wonder, if the brain is a system that rewires itself, what other systems inside you carry memory too? What if the story of change wasn't just in your mind, but in your very genes? Let's follow that trail next, down, deep into your cells, to where memory becomes inheritance. You are resting now. Your breath has found a rhythm. The room is hushed, and time seems to stretch, soft and slow, but deep inside you, a more ancient rhythm is unfolding, one you don't need to think about, one older than thought itself. Inside nearly every cell in your body, there is a library. Not a dusty room filled with books, but a spiral staircase of letters, wound tight, tucked gently into the heart of who you are. It's called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. But names don't matter as much as what it does. This code doesn't shout. It hums, a soft, steady instruction on how to build you. Hair, skin, blood, bone. Each part of you was shaped from this script, written not with ink, but with 4 letters. A, T, C, and G. They stand for chemicals, yes, but you don't need to memorize them. What matters is how they pair, how they dance, how they fold and loop and speak in silence. A always pairs with T, C always with G. Like partners in a slow, molecular waltz. This language has no punctuation, no chapters, yet somehow it knows when to begin and end. Inside this elegant swirl, you find instructions, recipes for proteins, guidelines for growth, memories passed down, not through words, but through molecules. And the wonder is, you are not the only one carrying this script. Your parents passed it on to you, and there's to them a river of genetic memory, flowing backward, generation by generation, through time, through bodies, all the way back to the first flicker of life. Your DNA carries echoes, not just of how tall you might be, or the color of your eyes, but of survival, of adaptation, of everything your ancestors weathered and endured. And yet, it's not rigid. It doesn't trap you in destiny, because this code can change, not wildly, not often, but just enough to allow the story to grow. Mutations. Small typos in the script sometimes cause problems, but sometimes they open doors. They let nature experiment. They bring variation, diversity, surprise. And through these changes, new paths emerge, new strengths, new possibilities. The genes you carry are like verses in a song. Some play softly, some never play at all, and some respond to the world around you. Because while your DNA holds instructions, your environment can influence how those instructions are read. This is epigenetics, the study of how life experiences can gently turn genes on or off, like dimmer switches. What you eat, how you sleep, what stresses you carry out. These can all shape which parts of your genetic story unfold. Even nurture can leave marks on nature. It's as though your life is writing footnotes in the margins of your genetic book. And sometimes those footnotes are passed on, not as memories you remember, but as quiet chemical traces, tiny signals that guide the next generation. Imagine that. Your grandparents' lives may still echo in you, not in your thoughts, but in how your cells respond, a thread of feeling, woven into flesh. You are a bridge between the past and the future. And while most of your DNA is shared with all humans, more than 99%, that remaining sliver holds your uniqueness. It's the reason your voice sounds different. Your fingerprints spiral differently. Your laugh rings a certain way. It's your blueprint. But it's not your cage, because your genes don't control you. They guide you. And more importantly, you guide them in return, through choice, through habit, through the soft unfolding of daily life. And in labs around the world, scientists are now learning how to read this language more clearly, how to write with it. Tools like CRISPR allow us to edit DNA, to correct, repair, even design. It's a powerful promise, but also a responsibility, because to change the code is to change the story, not just for one person, but perhaps for many. Yet even without touching a single letter, you are part of the story. Your cells are reading their script right now, building, healing, remembering, all while you lie here, quiet, wrapped in night. Think of that. Even in rest, your body is singing a genetic lullaby, an ancient song that reaches back billions of years to the very first cell and forward, perhaps, to the people who haven't yet arrived, the ones who might carry a piece of you, not just in genes, but in gestures, in instincts, in the way they might pause to wonder where it all began. So let your breath deepen. Let this knowledge settle. You are not just a person. You are a story made of stars and letters, a chapter in the long novel of life. And just as your genes whisper instructions, so too do other codes exist. Codes written in chaos, in randomness, in the slow drift toward disorder. Next, let's follow that drift and meet the quiet pull, called entropy. You've traveled far tonight, not in miles, but in meaning, from the whispers of your cells, to the codes etched in your DNA, to the quiet shaping of your thoughts, and the silent bridges in your brain, your body, your mind, your very being. They are all part of something older, something ongoing. You carry within you a story billions of years in the making. It doesn't shout. It hums, a soft, persistent memory, tucked into every breath you take, every heartbeat, every dream. And though entropy, that slow unraveling, waits for all things, so does creation. So does renewal. So does the spark of a single cell, deciding to begin again. In this moment, you are enough, not because you are finished, but because you are part of the unfolding. So rest now, knowing you are written in a language that remembers and rewrites itself with love. Thank you for joining me on this gentle journey through time, thought, and the quiet corners of the cosmos. If you found peace in this story, I'd love to know where in the world you're listening from. Drop a comment. Subscribe for more sleepy science stories. And until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and sleep well. Good night from the Bedtime Sleep.